Yep, item 13, AB 1153. As he is coming up, oh, he is already here. I was going to say, I want a motion for the consent calendar, but we'll do that after Assemblymember Calderon presents his bill. Wait a second, folks are moving around in here. Assemblymember, you've cleared the room, so. Okay, all right, welcome to the committee. You have item 13? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair and committee members. AB 1153 requires the State Board of Education to consider revisions needed to monitor progress on the state priorities and the local control accountability plan. The bill also requires school districts and county superintendents of schools to post their respective populated evaluations rubrics on their websites if it is available. 1153 addresses a technical issue needed to monitor outcomes and will also enable more meaningful dialogue to occur on specific LCAP goals. I respectfully ask for an aye vote, and with me in support today, I have Brad Strong on behalf of children now.
Okay, thank you. Please.
Thank you, Senator Liu, Senator Runner, and members. Current law establishes that county superintendents must be able to monitor outcomes to fulfill statutory requirements related to referrals for assistance, but that mechanism is not clear. The bill requires State Board to consider whether a revision to the template is necessary to monitor actual progress on outcomes. This problem is not just technical. Current LCAPs are not providing the information for stakeholders to provide meaningful input, but the technical aspect is critical. 52071 says that county superintendents of schools shall provide technical assistance to any district that fails to improve pupil achievement across more than one state priority for more than one pupil subgroup. However, that outcome data is not currently available for them to identify the districts that meet this test that they need to support. The analysis questions timing given the potential extension of the October 1 deadline for the adoption of the evaluation rubric, which we also support and have encouraged others to support that as well. We do not believe this bill is premature. We plan to continue our work with the State Board and department on the best and most viable mechanism for addressing this issue. But enactment of this bill simply provides for a remedy by January 31st of 2017 for the 2017-18 school year. If this bill fails, no legislative guidance is provided, and no State Board action resolves it by next year, then the earliest you could remedy it with a bill next year would be for the 2018-19 school year. We shouldn't wait another 3 years. Outcomes should be monitored and assistance should be provided to struggling districts as envisioned when enacted in 2013. Please support this bill.
Thank you. Others in support?
Madam Chair and members, Brian Rivas on behalf of the Education Trust West. The LCFF sparked really an unprecedented level of community engagement on the part of districts. But to be an active partner with districts in the planning of academic programs, parents and community members need information. And a lot of good work is going into the development of the evaluation rubrics to assess how districts are doing relative to the state priorities. But this measure is really a modest effort to make sure that community members and parents have information so that they can make their own judgments about how districts are doing and participate actively. So for those reasons, we're in support.
Okay, thank you.
Kim Lewis representing families in schools, and just note that one of the state 8-wide priorities is parent engagement, and getting additional information is critical so that we can ensure that we are meeting that priority. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any others in support of the bill? Is there opposition? Oops. In support of the bill? Okay.
Brendan Tuig on behalf of EdVoice in support.
Okay. Any others in support? They didn't have to run from the outside. Right. Okay, thank you. Is there any opposition to the bill? The committee did not receive any. Are any questions from members regarding the bill? Okay, I do have, the question, I guess, for the analysis is the timing of this. And so Children Now is also going to ask for support the extension, the request for the extension of getting the rubrics straightened out.
We do support it. We have supported it and have encouraged others to support the extension of the deadline for the evaluation rubric.
And you don't see, can districts really determine the evaluation, the process by which we all should, how do they judge themselves in terms of the 8 standards, whether or not they're meeting them, just doing that on the website regarding their plan versus performance? They can do this on their website today? I mean, if the state board has not created the rubrics yet, then what do you expect the districts to report? Or what can they report?
So what the bill asks that the state board consider, so this is aside from the evaluation rubric, so they are in the process of doing that. So the state board needs to consider whether they need to add a section or appendix to the local control accountability plan, which basically, is a data picture of the annual progress on all of the state priorities for all of the subgroups. Right. And to consider whether that needs to be embedded within the LCAP. That function actually provides it to the county superintendent. So that's the mechanism for the county superintendent to determine if they failed to meet one or more of the
standards.
Outcomes on each of the state priorities. That's their trigger for providing assistance. So if that doesn't exist, we're asking the state board to consider whether that's necessary. If they don't, so if they determine that we don't need a section in that, then what it defaults to is, okay, then if available, provide your evaluation rubric, post your evaluation rubric online. The presumption there is that at least the public would have access to it, and that content should be in the evaluation rubrics for those districts.
But without instruction, without telling districts what it is that we're wanting to look at, or do they just inherently know?
The evaluation rubrics will be adopted, right? And the extension, at least in the budget, proposes for, I think I just saw it this morning in the trailer bill for the first time, and it looked like you extended a year.
A year.
So
okay.
From October 1st October of 2015 to 2016. It moves it out 1 year.
Well, no, I don't, I know what you're talking about in terms of transparency. Just parents, community members should know what's going on during this transition period. And I agree with that. It's just that, is there any kind of instrument or, what do districts report on? Because the testing has been pushed back a little bit and what measurements? All of the 8 standards, we just reporting them? How, from where they are, where they said they were going to be in the LCAPs to where they are today?
So it would be the outcomes on all of the state priorities for all of the subgroups that are adopted as part of the evaluation rubric, which would be a year from October. Mm-hmm. This bill says that by January 31st of 2017, that they need to consider whether they need to embed that within an appendix or a template within the LCAP to make that functionally transfer those outcomes to a county superintendent then who could then meet their existing statutory expectations of providing technical support and assistance for districts that are failing to meet outcomes.
I don't want to, get twisted in our underwear, but it's just that, and I do agree that transparency is very important. I'm just, how we coincide with the rules that that are yet to be adopted to what is currently going on, and how do we hold people accountable in this transition period is something that we should all consider, and whether or not it's really, but I do agree that the public should know the steps by which districts are progressing with the LCAP and with their LCAP, and where the money is being spent with local control funding. Yeah, I do agree with that. Okay, any other questions? Do I hear a motion? Oh, well, I'm sorry. Would you like to close?
Yeah, and, really the intent of the bill is also moving forward so that by the time we have that standard and the state has made its determination as to what those standards are, and when it comes to the 8 priorities, that those priorities are lining up with what the locals are doing in terms of the local accountability measures. And, and when they do have a website to place that on there so that the local school districts can stay in parity with what the state is asking in priorities, and so that it could also be placed online so that there could be more transparency. But with that, I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Okay, thank you. Bill has been moved. Let's call the roll.
To pass appropriations, Lou.
Aye.
Lou, aye. Renner. Renner, aye. Block. Hancock. Leyva. Leyva, aye. Mendoza. Monning. Monning, aye. Pan. Pan, aye. Vidak. Vidak, aye. 6.
Thank
We
you,
have
members.
6 votes, sufficient for passage. We'll leave the roll open for absent members. Thank you. Assemblymember Daley, you have, first of all, folks, do I hear a motion for consent? Thank you. Consent has been moved. Let's take full roll.
Lou.
Aye.
Lou, aye. Renner. Renner, aye. Block. Hancock. Leyva.
Consent.
Leyva, aye. Mendoza. Monning. Monning, aye. Pan. Pan, aye. Vidak. Vidak, aye.
Thank you. 6 votes. We'll leave the roll open for absent members. Okay. Welcome, Assemblymember Daley. You have item 5, AB 715.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will begin by accepting the amendments as suggested by the committee. AB 715 is a minor technical bill that clarifies the definition of accessible space. This clarification will ensure that all school districts and building officials in California interpret the law consistently. Under current statute, walkways are not considered accessible space. This bill simply states that putting a cover on a walkway should not change that outcome. Opponents expressed concern that adding the term detached bike storage locker might confuse local jurisdictions. The committee amendments address that concern by removing that language from the bill. So we're left simply with the covered walkway language. In summation, my bill would not change the amount of developer fees collected. It simply clarifies current statute and follows the original intent and spirit of the law. With me today in support is Sean Apikian on behalf of the California Apartment Association.
Thank you. Please, in support of the bill.
Madam Chair and members, Sean Tapakian on behalf of the California Apartment Association. We are in support. We want to appreciate that the chair and the committee staff for further narrowing the scope of the bill. As the Assemblyman said, the bill now only applies to walkways. Under current law, walkways are exempt. This bill simply says putting a cover on it also should be exempt as well. It simply clarifies existing law, and we ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Any others in support of the bill? Are those folks opposed to the bill?
Madam Chair, members, Jeff Frost, representing the Orange County Department of Ed. I just wanted to clarify in public, because I've been to all of the offices in the last couple of days, that with the amendments, we remove our opposition.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, members, Nancy Chaitis Espinosa with the California School Boards Association. Also want to go on record that with the amendments, once we see the bill in print, we do think we can remove our opposition.
Thank you.
Good morning, Chair and members. David Nevin on behalf of Santa Ana Unified School District. We appreciate the amendments to AB 715, and it's certainly a step in the right direction. And we will continue to evaluate our client's position. At the moment, we cannot entirely remove our opposition, but we're more inclined to it. And We will work with the author on any outstanding concerns.
Thank you.
Enrique Roacho with the California Association of School Business Officials. I want to thank the author and the sponsor, as well as committee staff, for working on us. We really appreciate the amendments, and we're likely to remove our opposition upon reviewing the bill in print. We really like the direction where the bill is headed, and thank you for that.
Thank you. Okay.
Laura Preston, Association of California School Administrators. With these amendments, we remove our opposition.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, members, Tom Duffy for the Coalition for Adequate School Housing. We had initially been opposed to AB 517.
715.
I'm sorry, 715. We have filed a letter with committee and also shared it with the author that we would remove our opposition pending the amendments being accepted that are proposed by the committee staff.
Thank you very much. Well, good job.
Thank you.
Almost. Almost.
Well, and to
Almost all of them.
and to your staff as well.
Thank you. Any questions from, any other opposition? Okay, seeing none. Any questions from members? Bill's been moved. Okay, closing remarks?
I respectfully request an aye vote.
Thank you. Okay, please call the roll.
Do pass as amended. Lou?
Aye.
Lou, aye. Runner? Aye. Runner, aye. Block? Hancock? Leyva? Aye. Leyva, aye. Mendoza? Monning? Pan? Aye. Pan, aye. Vidak? Aye. Vidak, aye.
Okay. You have sufficient vote for passage. We'll keep the roll open for our absent members.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Okay, Assemblymember Gallagher. I don't see him. Assemblymember Gomez. Oh, okay. He has to come into the into the room in order to present the bill. Welcome. You can use the podium.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, members.
You have item 3, AB 517?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members. It's my pleasure to present AB 517. This bill gives parents and guardians ample time to review materials that will be distributed to their children during sexual health or HIV/AIDS prevention lessons, and allows them to make copies of the materials if they are not protected by copyright. Parents are currently sent a notice that provides information about the upcoming sexual education instruction. AB 517 ensures that if outside consultants are brought in to provide the instruction, the notice also includes the training of these consultants and that they have in the areas of sexual health and HIV/AIDS prevention. Section 51933 and 51934 of the Education Code require that students be encouraged to talk with their parents about human sexuality. And Section 51937 expresses legislative intent to respect the rights of parents to supervise their children's sexual education. This bill will help facilitate these provisions of the existing code and give easier access to educational materials. AB 517 merely seeks to provide information to parents and gives them the tools to participate in this important conversation with their children. It is passed with wide bipartisan support in previous committees and on the Assembly floor. And I'd like to thank this committee for the thorough analysis, and I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Any folks in support of the bill? Is there any opposition to the bill? Seeing none. A question from Senator Pan.
Thank you, Assemblyman Gallagher. Certainly agree with you that we need that parents should be aware of what is being taught in school. I did have a question because certainly, the part about being able to access copies of the material, that's generally that probably wouldn't change. In terms of the information about if you have a guest speaker, outside consultant, for example, suppose school they're bringing in a speaker with particular expertise from a group that has expertise, and that particular speaker, let's say, falls ill, and someone else from the group who has similar expertise, but it's from the same group or from the same organization comes to speak, would that become a problem because they didn't give prior notification? They're going to teach the same material. So in other words, I just want to know how narrow that is in terms of the notification. If they're coming from essentially the same organization with using the same material, would that preclude the school from actually being able to still hold their class, or would they have to cancel that class because they didn't notify that that particular person came, versus saying that we're going to have a guest speaker who comes from such and such an organization that brings such and such an expertise, and now there's a substitute who essentially brings the same expertise from the same organization who also is using the same materials, but because the unavailability of the initial guest speaker. So I just wanted to understand how flexible that part of the provision of your bill is.
Yeah, no, and that's a good question. I mean, I could see that would be a real scenario. There's nothing in the bill that would penalize a school in that situation. The only thing that the bill says is that when there is going to be an outside consultant brought on, that there's notice ahead of time of the person and what their qualifications were. Now, I could foresee that somebody different might come in, but like you said, they'd probably be someone with the same qualifications and certifications. And really the intent behind this is just to provide, let the parents know that the people coming in are people that have training and certification in this type of education.
Okay. Well, I certainly just want to be
appropriate training.
Right. I just, I think that in terms of the intent of what you're saying, I just want to be sure that that gets addressed so that we don't have a school being told that, well, you brought in somebody different than, you said there's going to be person A, or what the school feels like they have to, and if it doesn't, that would violate a notification requirement. I mean, clearly we want parents to know what's being taught, but we don't want to also create such tight constraints that prevents, that makes it difficult for the school to be able to carry out what they need to do. That's an important part of the curriculum. So hopefully that.
As I understand it, it's current law, what you just described. And I think there's a section that was added, just talked about the training. And so there's nothing been changed with this bill. Okay. Okay. With that, the bill's been moved. Would you like to close?
I just asked for your aye vote. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Bill's been moved. Let's call the roll.
Do passed. Appropriations, Lou.
Aye.
Lou, aye. Renner. Aye. Renner, aye. Block. Block, aye. Hancock. Leyva. Aye. Leyva, aye. Mendoza. Monning. Pan.
Aye.
Pan, aye. Vidak.
Aye.
Vidak, aye. 6.
6 votes, sufficient for passage. We'll keep the roll open for our absent members.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, Assemblymember Gomez. Assemblymember Williams. You have item 11, AB 969.
Thank you. I just did not want to keep the committee waiting for assembly authors. Madam Chair, members, before my presentation, I would like to accept the committee amendments outlined in the analysis. This bill would expand the community college district's authorization to deny enrollment, permit enrollment, or permit conditional enrollment of an applicant who has been expelled from another community college district to include violations of the district's adopted policies on sexual assault, domestic violence, and dating violence. The bill would also authorize a community college district to require student applicants to disclose whether they have previously been expelled from a community college for a violation of their district-adopted policies concerning sexual assault, domestic violence, dating violence, and stalking. Senators, the districts are already supposed to check, but they have no method of doing so without this bill. We did a series of hearings in the last 2 years, and this attended by a couple of members here, and this is one of the glaring holes in our system to catch and hold accountable people who have perpetrated sexual violence in our higher education system. The bill ensures that they have the tools necessary to protect students, employees, and the public in the cases of the most egregious violations of sexual assault policies. And I do have one witness here in support.
Sure. Please, in support of the bill.
My name is Shana Brown. Oh, thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is Shana Brown, and I represent the California Coalition Against Sexual Assault, CALCASA. CALCASA is a statewide professional association for the 84 rape crisis centers that serve all counties in California. And we've served as a national leader on campus violence with our work with the Office of Violence Against Women and the Centers for Disease Control. We are proud to support AB 969. According to the U.S. Department of Justice, about 70% of sexual assault victimizations occur either at the victim's home or a home of another person, meaning that many cases do not occur on campus. AB 969 will simply clarify current law to ensure that the community colleges can take action against students who serve as a threat to campus, the campus community and public safety. From a survivor perspective, it is important that campuses have the purview to protect their students from potential threats to campus safety and improve coordination of perpetrators in the California community college system. Ensuring that the various community colleges are communicating with each other is a vital step in providing a safe learning environment for our students. Thank you for your consideration of AB 969. I urge your aye vote.
Thank you. Others in support of the bill?
Good morning, Madam Chair and members. Sally Espinoza on behalf of the Attorney General's Office, and I'm proud to support this legislation. Combating sexual assault on California's college campuses has been a top priority for the Attorney General. She recently partnered with law enforcement and UC in issuing a sample memorandum of understanding to assist law enforcement agencies and colleges in improving coordination, collaboration, and transparency in cases of campus sexual assault. And as she just noted, not all rape or sexual assault occurs on the college campus, and that's why we urge your support of this measure.
Thank you. In support.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, Christy Balma here on behalf of the California Federation of Teachers. Pleased to be in support of this measure as it empowers the colleges to promote safe campuses and safety for the entire campus community. So we urge your support.
Thank you. Any others in support of the bill? Is there opposition to the bill? The committee did not receive any. Are there questions from members? No questions. The bill has been moved. Would you like to close, Assemblymember Williams?
Just respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Okay. You sure? No last words? All right. The bill's been moved. Please call the roll.
Do pass as amended to appropriations. Lou?
Aye.
Lou, aye. Runner?
Aye.
Runner, aye. Block? Block, aye. Hancock? Leyva? Aye. Leyva, aye. Mendoza? Monning? Aye. Monning, aye. Pan? Aye. Pan, aye. Vidak?
Aye.
Vidak, aye. That's 7.
You have 7 votes, sufficient for passage. We'll leave the roll open for our absent members.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Do we see Assemblymember Gomez? Oh, yes. Assemblymember Gomez has item 16, AB 1431, members.